Okie dokie, we should be live. We should be live. Just a quick boxing discussion. Nothing too crazy, nothing too serious. Obviously, given that it's January, not too much to really talk about. Boxing in the UK has been cancelled for this month. And, you know, there's a couple of fights in January. Gary Russell Jr. is involved in a good fight, which is interesting. But, you know, apart from that, there's nothing too interesting on the horizon, quite frankly. Arthur Beterbiev, Joe Smith Jr. versus Callum Johnson. Callum Johnson pulled out. I believe he's injured. So, yeah, January's looking shit, quite frankly. It's looking pretty shit. But yeah, man, it is what it is. Big up to the Quags. Felipe Percher in the house. Big up to Felipe. Happy New Year, Del. Any channel goals? Not really, man. Just going to keep on plugging away, to be honest. But nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. We'll see where it goes. But I need to start uploading more regularly on the boxing channel. But ultimately, January, such a quiet month, it's kind of hard. Yeah, Smith Johnson, yeah, it's off now. Yeah, apparently Joe Smith, he's looking for a new opponent. So we'll see. We'll see who he fights, if he does fight anybody. Yeah, I know, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. Gary Russell's actually in a good fight, though, to be fair. He's fighting Mark Magsayo, who's not the greatest boxer, but he can punch. So that could be a pretty good fight. I'd imagine Gary Russell wins, but Mark Magsayo is definitely dangerous. So that's a good fight. That is a good fight. Yeah, Smith Johnson is now off, which is a shame because that would have been a fun fight in the very least. Spence, mind you, it depends on what Spence has left, you know. So I'll need to see against Ugas, but let's say Spence is near his best. I take Spence late stoppage or on points, one of the two. Yeah, we have that fight as well. Machunu versus Makabu. That's a good fight. That's actually a rematch. Makabu won the first fight, but he was losing until he got the knockout. So that should be a good fight. And obviously, yeah, Magsayo, Gary Russell. No worries, Matthias. And by the way, lads, Matthias has a channel himself. Welshman, knows his stuff. I would call him a hardcore boxing fan. He knows his stuff, man. So check out Matthias Unboxing. Really good channel. An up-and-comer in the game. But yeah, big up to Matthias Unboxing. Thank you for the contribution. Much appreciated. Thanks for looking out, man. Big up to yourself. Yeah, man. Cash Farooq. Yeah, he retired. It's a shame because he had a really fun style. The lack of power, in my opinion, was always going to hold him back. But I always felt Cash Farooq was very talented. And I felt he beat Lee McGregor, actually. So that's a shame. That's really a shame. I'm not sure why he retired. It's due to medical issues, whatever that means. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, that's sad. That's bad news. Because he's fun to watch, man. He's very fun to watch. Oh, is that tomorrow? Shit. Are you sure that's tomorrow, Michael Van Gerwen? I thought it was like the 9th or something like that. Fury White Purse bid. That can't be tomorrow, surely. Maybe you're right. No, January the 11th. That's when the purse bid is, apparently. Or that's when the deadline is, sorry. So who knows when the actual... Yeah, who knows when the actual purse bid is? I'm not sure. Oh, Tuesday, bro. Bro, I'm sorry, man. I'm so fucking tired. I totally misread. I thought you said today, man. I totally misread your fucking chat. My bad, bro. Just fucking ignore me, man. Fucking hell. Yeah, apparently he's got a medical issue, so he has to retire. Not sure what it is. Yeah, big up to GB Guthrie. Salute. Yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah, it's Tuesday the 11th. Well, that's when the is that when the actual purse bid takes place, or is that the final day that they have to, come to an agreement? Yeah, bro, I totally misread your chat, Michael Van Gerwen. Who do you think Tyson will fight? You mean Tyson Fury? Um, I mean, Frank Warren's saying that he's going to fight March 26th, but I mean, we heard that a couple of years ago when he was going to fight Caballero in December. So if he does fight, I think it'll be someone like Hellenius, to be honest. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. My week's been all kinds of fucked up, GB Guthrie, because of bank holiday and obviously coming out of a Christmas period. I've not really got my bearings. So yeah, I'm all kinds of fucked up right now. Big up to official. Salute to official. Big up every single time. BG London in the house. Big up to BG London. But yeah, apparently Tyson Fury is going to fight on the 26th of March. But I don't really believe that, to be honest. We've heard that so many times when it comes to Fury. Oh, he's going to fight on this date. Never fucking happens. So I'm assuming he's not going to fight, but apparently he's fighting on the 26th. Who knows? No worries, man. Roma Gonzalez, Estrada 3 is done for March. Who do you have? I need to think about it. First and foremost, I need to rewatch that second fight. I've not seen it since it happened, so I need to rewatch that fight. I'll be honest, I kind of want Chocolatito to win that third fight, but it's a great fight, man. It's going to be a fucking great fight. And you've also got Quadras versus Rungvisai coming up soon. That's a really good fight. Quadras seems to have found himself again, if that makes sense. I know Quadras lost to Estrada, but he looked quite good. So Quadras Rungvisai is a really good fight. Do you think Hrgović would beat the guys who ducked him, Ortiz, Parker, and Hunter? I think he would. Honestly, I think he would definitely beat this version of Ortiz. Parker, I'm not sure. Hunter, as of Hunter's last fight, yes. But my thing is this. Listen, I like Hrgović. I was very impressed with him in the amateurs. But in the last 2 or 3 fights, man, the guy's been looking a bit sloppy. He's carrying a bit of extra weight. He looks a bit cumbersome. It looks like he's not motivated right now. And now's the time to fight this dude. For all we know, this guy's a hype job. For all we know, this guy's no good. Somebody needs to step to him and test him and find that out. But nobody's willing to, which is such a shame. But yeah, I mean, I think Hrgović would beat Ortiz now, and I think he would more than likely beat Hunter. Parker, not so sure. Not so sure. Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. Big up to Jim McDonald. Sup, team? Hope you've all had some great holidays. Yeah, man, it wasn't too bad. It was quiet, but nice and relaxing. But the problem is, man, Big Boys Boxing, you always feel like you need a couple more days kind of thing. But yeah, it was decent. It was decent. Yeah, Gassiev injured again. Do you think heavyweight is taking a toll on his body? To be honest, he was receiving injuries basically since the Usyk fight, even before he went to heavyweight. I'm not sure, man, but hopefully the guy gets a clean bill of health and some activity to see how far he can go. But it's looking like Gassiev is pretty much, I wouldn't say done, but it's looking unlikely that he's going to do anything in the heavyweight division. Because honestly, if he stayed fit and stayed active, I think he could pose some problems. But, we know the scenario right now. It's not looking good for Gassiev. Big up to John Gonzalez. Salute. Yeah, I need to rewatch that second fight. I had a controversial scorecard of a draw, so I need to rewatch it. Usually my scorecards are bang on, but everybody told me, oh no, you need to watch that shit again, you're wrong. So I need to watch that shit again. when are and Hearn going to invest in Hrgovic? That is what is needed to get him the good fights. Yeah, that is true as well. That is true. If you believe in your guy, you need to make an investment, to try and reap that reward later on. So I get what you're saying. I do, but it's such a. I mean, honestly, I think they should go down the rankings again, see what happens, and if nobody fights Hrgovic, they just need to give him the mandatory spot because you can't keep on going round in circles hoping for some guy to fight him while wasting his career. So, I mean, Zhili Zhang said he'd fight Hrgovic, and I know Zhili Zhang is ranked in the IBF, so maybe that fight could happen. Who knows? But I get what you're saying, big boys. No, I don't. My memory's terrible though, Anthony. So, but I don't recall that happening. Not recently, at least. Yeah, Hrgovic got gangster on Babic. Winner takes all or no fight. Let's see how savage Babic is. Yeah, he'll get fucking turned into a cabbage. BG London. It'll be Alan the Cabbage Babic if he fights Hrgovic. Hrgovic, too big, too strong, too good. Big up to E Machines 34. Salute. Honestly, bro, I don't really care about that sort of thing. I really don't. Canelo had a great year. Josh Taylor become undisputed. Usyk got a great win. There's been a few guys. Fuck Djokovic. Now Djokovic is a G. I like Djokovic, man. He's a G. Yeah, that's what I think. Big Boys Boxing. He's actually spoke. He seems quite receptive to that fight. So yeah, hopefully that happens. I'm not sure who the next in line is after Parker. I'm not sure, but I know. Yeah, I know Zhili Zhang is ranked. So if it comes to him, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I don't really rate Zhili Zhang to tell you the truth, but he's a big lump. He's undefeated. He's a southpaw, and he does have he does have power. Sorry, so it'll be an okay fight. No, I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I think Martinez would be favourite. I would be backing Martinez to win that fight. To be honest, I think he'll just grind down Sonny Edwards. Edwards would win the early rounds, but I don't think he can stay away for 12 rounds against Martinez, who is relentless, powerful, comes in at angles. He's not like a basic pressure fighter in regards to being predictable. And that's the sort of guy, a predictable pressure fighter. Edwards is going to have an easy time, as we saw against Jason Mama. But, Martinez is a different level of fighter. So I think Martinez wins probably by late stoppage. But it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Big up to Nordic. If WBO instead mandate Joe Smith Jr. versus Yard, who wins? Yard was good in the second Arthur fight. I would still take Joe Smith to beat Yard, but I think it'll be a war. And Yard would have a chance. He would have a chance due to his speed and power. That's a great fight. But yeah, big up to Nordic. Yeah, I like Djokovic, man. Yeah, big up to Djokovic. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I had a few drinks on New Year's, but I didn't do anything you wouldn't do, BG London. Yeah, and apparently he had a medical exemption. He had 2 approved medical exemptions from 2 different doctors, something along those lines. Who the fuck knows, man? I'm past caring, bro. I really am. Yeah, Cash Farooq retired. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Apparently it's a medical issue. Who knows what it is? But yeah, he was a really exciting fighter. I always rated Cash Farooq. His fight with Lee McGregor was so good. I wish we saw that again. That was a great fight, man. Well, apparently, from what I read, the man who belches, Smith is looking for a new opponent. That's what I read last, anyway. Maybe they'll change their mind and just reschedule. Who knows? But from what I read, they're looking for a new opponent for January 15th. So who knows? I mean, Yard is one of those guys. I don't think Yard's world level, and I understand why somebody wouldn't really rate him all that highly. I think he's talented. I think he's got potential to grow and become better. But right now, I wouldn't really give Yard a chance against the likes of Bivol, Baturbiev, and I would make Joe Smith a favourite over him too. Even guys like Maxime Vlasov, Gilberto Ramirez, I would have those guys beating Yard, to be honest. Yeah, and the problem was Nordic with Cash Farouk. He never really had the power to go with his style. I'm not saying he was like a pillow puncher, but he just didn't have that sort of power. Like if he had world class power, he would have been a big problem. But you're right, yeah, he took a lot of shots. He took a lot of shots. Leonardo Campos Vasquez, watching England in a World Cup final or watching the boxing match you want the most this year. We would lose the World Cup final, so I would say watching the boxing match I want the most this year, which would be Fury and Usyk. I would say February the 5th, I believe, BG London. So yeah, it's not been delayed by too much, which is good. That's a great fight, the Eubank Jr. Williams fight. WBO rejected Andrade moving up for an interim title, and Janabek fight is going to purse bids. Do you think Andrade and Hearn will still try and move up? Probably not. But if he can't fight for the interim, then probably not. What's the other options? I think the Janabek fight is good for Andrade right now. Janabek, yeah, he's only had a few fights, but he looks talented. He hits hard. He's a southpaw, good amateur pedigree, and he's certainly more interesting than fucking Jason Quigley or Luke Keeler. It's an interesting fight, and I would pick Andrade to win, by the way. But at least it's intriguing. It's fun. It's worth watching. You know. And I would pick Andrade to win. But I don't get why there's so much backlash to that fight. A lot of Andrade fans are saying that he shouldn't take that fight. You know, I mean, what other good options are out there for him? It'd be okay if Andrade had a fight with Canelo lined up, but that's not the case. He's not got a fight with Golovkin lined up, or Charlo, or Murata, or Munguia. So, name me a better option than Janabek. I think Yard is mostly domestic level, but a fight with Smith would be a war. I agree. I would say Yard is like European level, I would say. He's probably above domestic, but like below world. Honestly, I think gun to my head, I would go with Chocolatito, but I need to think about it. I agree. Yeah, I think he would take Yard apart. Bro, it's embarrassing, unrivaled. They're going through the ranks again. It's insane. But bear in mind, the IBF, I believe, first ordered Hunter Hrgovic back in February of last year. Here we are, nearly a year later. Hrgovic still doesn't have an opponent for his final eliminator. That's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. I say go through the rankings again, and if nobody wants that fight, just make Hrgovic for Mando. That's the only way around this, in my opinion. I can't think of any other ways around this. I'm not tuned into the British boxing scene that much, so I was wondering, do you guys rate Felix Cash? I mean, he's a good domestic fighter, maybe European level. Can he go beyond that? Again, I'm not sure because he's been so inactive. He was coming off a great win over Denzel Bentley, and he's not been seen since. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. He's got a fun style. He hits pretty hard. He's a big middleweight, but how good he is? Your guess is as good as mine, bro. These guys don't fight regularly enough. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Coming off the biggest win of your career, where he went on a Frank Warren show to beat Denzel Bentley, he's done nothing since. Yeah, big up to Mark every single time, by the way. After Parker is Joshua, Yoka, Joyce, Caballel, Gassiev, Ortiz, Ruiz, McKean, and Zhang at 13. Just make her go Mando and be done with it. I agree. But I would go through the rankings again. And And if nobody takes it, then yeah, just make Hrgović Mando. The Croatian murderers row, yeah, exactly. Hamza Shearer moving up to 160 because he offered Skeet a rematch. He declined, so won't stay and he'll move up to 160. Surprised, I thought he would jump at a chance to fight Hamza. Yeah, me too. That's strange. That is strange. The neutral corner. I thought Skeet would take that, but maybe they lowballed Skeet. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe, but that's going to take time, bro. Andrade doesn't have that sort of time. He needs to fight. He needs to fight quality opponents, or as good, or he needs to fight the best opponents possible. And when it comes to realistic opponents, right now for Andrade's next fight, Janabek is one of his best options. It's easily makeable. Janabek wants it. Why not? I don't get why not, to be honest. Unless Andrade fights Parker at 68, if he moves up to make that, that's a duck. Yeah, I agree. Like, you can't say, like, on one hand, you can't say, oh, Janabek brings nothing to the table, and then you fight Zach Parker. Janabek is more proven than Parker. I mean, it's crazy, bro. Yeah, he was a good talent. He was, man. It's very rare to see a fighter from the UK who can fight on the inside, and he could fight on the inside. Yep, Zhili Zhang accepted the Hrgović fight. Surprisingly, he's got the biggest balls. Yeah, man. Big 6'9" Chinese southpaw. Or Zhili Zhang. Big up to Zhili Zhang. Hopefully he takes it, man. But yeah, he's been sounding positive in regards to that fight, so we shall see. Interestingly enough, I just see on Boxing Scene right now, apparently Nonito Donaire said he would go to 115 to fight the winner of Estrada and Chocolatito. That's what Donaire said. He could make 115. Anybody find that a bit suspicious, man? This guy's on all sorts of diuretics, but I'd take it. I'd love to see it. Gonzalez Estrada winner versus Donaire. That would be crazy. I'd love to see that shit. What better route than a final eliminator against Hrgović? Big Joe Parker has. Well, do you mean what other options he got? I mean, apparently there's a lot of people speculating that he could fight Joe Joyce in a WBO eliminator. And to be fair to Parker, let's say we know Parker's turned this fight down. If Parker fights Joe Joyce next in a WBO eliminator, that's fair enough. I don't really call that a duck because it's equally as hard a fight, maybe even harder. So it depends on what Parker does next, you know. But if he fights Joyce next, I don't really blame him because it's equally as hard fight, but for a bit more money. Yeah, Filip Hrgović right now is he's for real boogeyman. Well, that's what I thought, true crime with G-Man, but he's getting old now. He's like nearly 40, Zhili Zhang. I think the original plan, G-Man, they was trying to keep him right for Joshua and have Joshua fight in China. That's what I think the original plan was, to have Joshua defend in China against Zhang. But Zhang, as we saw in the Forest fight, Zhang's a knockout waiting to happen, and he's getting old. So they probably need to chuck this guy in now. No, if he fights Joyce next, I'm not going to call it a duck because it's, in my opinion, it's equally as hard a fight, and it's a fight I would be equally interested in. So I wouldn't call that a duck if he fights Joyce next. If Parker fucks around and fights fucking Dempsey McKean next, then yeah, it's a duck. It depends on who he fights next. I think Boxing Beats and Rhymes had a good little shout. He needs to play on that boogeyman reputation now. They need to market Hrgović as the boogeyman, the most avoided heavyweight since Mike Tyson. I know that sounds hyperbolic, it does, but you got to, deal with the cards that you're dealt, right? So that's how I would market Hrgović. I'd market this guy as the boogeyman, the most avoided fighter in boxing. That's how I would do it. Yep, Daenerys at 115 to think he was fighting Frampton at 126 a few years back. It's crazy, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, Skeet wanted a bit more time. Okay, and Skeet isn't really in the position to be choosing where he's at in his career. So that's what I'm saying. The Quags. I'll be honest, yeah, I get Daenerys is a legend. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and quite frankly, he's an all-time great of the lower weights. But I'll always hold it against him for fucking up that Casemiro fight. I will. If it let, I'll say this, BG London. If that fight was like an eliminator, I would agree. I wouldn't mind it, but it's not, man. It's basically just a cash out fight. So it's like, meh. Ask Victor Conte, indeed. Indeed. Zeely Big Bull Zhang is an accident waiting to happen. That man will have a Connery during his ring walk. I've got Hergovich by TKO. And by the way, guys, I have been in what's the word I'm looking for? I can't fucking speak. What's the word I'm looking for? I have been on the herb. So if I'm a little bit worse for wears, don't blame me. Don't blame me. I'm enjoying myself. I'm relaxing. It's been a weird week, you know. It's only been it seems super long. Yeah, Joyce Parker stylistically for me is a harder is harder for Parker than Hergovich. Sorry, yeah, Joyce Parker is harder for Parker, yeah, than Hergovich. I think I would agree. I think I would agree. Like nobody has any idea how good Hergovich is. I'll be honest. Again, I was impressed with him in the amateurs and his first few pro fights, but his last few fights, man, he just looks sluggish. He's getting caught with silly shots. He looks slower. He looks a bit fleshy. If now's the time to try and fight Hergovich, you know, he might have stagnated. But none of these guys have balls, man. None of these guys have balls. It's crazy. I try and stay out of YouTube beef, man, these days. I'm getting too old for this shit, bruh. Yeah, exactly, yeah. But again, though, it's like one of those things, man. I'll leave those guys to do what they do. It is what it is, man. They can do what they do. They're getting their money. Fair play to them. If people buy into it, people buy into it, you know? I think most heavyweights expect the belts to be fractured in 2022. Parker probably thinks he'll be making good money until he gets a shot at a vacant belt at a 50-50 split. Maybe, yeah. Maybe. Maybe. Daenerys will be reverse Pacquiao. He'll boil down to minimum weight and make history. It's crazy, man. Did you see the Robert Smith interview on Talksport? Even the interview seemed a bit annoyed at him. Smith is the dictionary definition of a cunt. Yeah, I can't bear to hear that guy speak, G-man. That guy's a slimy fucking cretin, Robert Smith. Such a slime ball. Just a disgraceful fucking joke of a human being. Exactly, yeah. Zili Zhang got beat the fuck up against Jerry Forrest. And by the way, man, Jerry Forrest, I think Jerry Forrest would be a good opponent for Daniel Dubois next. They're talking about Dubois fighting Trevor Bryan, but I think he needs to have a few fights, man. Trevor Bryan is shit, don't get me wrong. And Dubois would beat Trevor Bryan, but I don't think Dubois needs to be holding any version of a heavyweight title right now. He needs to be developing. I think Jerry Forrest would be a good opponent for Dubois right now. Yeah, but I get you. I get you, big boys boxing. I get you. I just can't bear to listen to those people anymore. Not that I ever did, but you know, you'd hear clips here and there. I just can't. I just can't anymore, man. I'll just leave those guys to it. Fair play to them. They're making their money. They're making a hustle. So I can't critique them. It is what it is. Thoughts on Steve Kimmer's a journo? To be honest with you, I only really listen to Steve Kim when he's on BDA. Apart from that, I don't follow him, so I can't really speak about him, to be honest. I don't follow any boxing journo. I don't listen to any boxing journos podcast or really follow their tweets or anything like that. So yeah, I can take him or leave him, to be honest. I can take him or leave him. No worries, official man. No worries. I just don't think it'll get me anywhere, to be honest. And I've not got the energy for it, bro. I really don't anymore. Nothing will come of it. I don't. You know what I mean? It's like one of those. It's one of those. Maybe I should start fucking calling everybody out to fights and shit. Who knows? Dear, oh dear. Big up to official, man. Yeah, I would keep Dubois miles away from the WBA regular. That title's been cursed since Lucas Brown Shagayev. Yep, it has indeed. And honestly, I just think he needs to develop, Mark. I don't think having any sort of title on his waist is going to do him any good. I think a Jerry Forrest next would be ideal. Then maybe, I don't know, let's say Jerry Forrest next, then maybe Ali Aaron Demarezen. Those sort of fights, a couple of those sort of fights, and then go from there. That's what I would say with Dubois. He's still young. He's 24. He's a heavyweight. He's got a lot of time left. Frank is just trying to rush this kid. Don King will never let anybody with a pulse in with Trevor Bryan. Yeah, unless they cash him out. Yeah, unless they're getting money. Yeah. Oh, God. WBA will order Dubois versus Bryan for a mandatory. Then winner will need to fight Helenius. Then Char will get a shot. Fucking hell. What a clusterfuck that is. All we need now, your old Dar, is to get fucking Freza Quendo back in the mix. Never heard of him, bro. Never heard of him until this week. Never heard of him. Yeah. If I get into a beef, it'll be on the second channel. So I can fucking fight some cunt and make some money. Johnny Rice, another good shout. That's what I'm saying. That sort of guy, a Johnny Rice, a Jerry Forrest, that sort of guy. That's who I would have Dubois in with next. Somebody like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lucas Brown was awful. He was a fun fighter at his level, but he was never that sort of guy, that world level guy. I would agree. Jazz 11. I would take Felix Cash as well. Too powerful. Oh shit, that's a good point, G-Man. Yeah, Don King card at the end of the month. Makabu versus Machunu. What are the odds that this fight actually happens? Remember the last show he did and tried to kill off a YTBC reviewing the card? Yep. I got a copyright strike from Don King for reviewing that card. To be honest, though, that copyright claim's long gone, so I might review it anyway. Fuck Don King. He can go and suck my dick, man. Fuck Don King. I might review it anyway just because I can. Why not? It's been called off, bro. It was supposed to happen on the 15th, and it's been called off, I believe. I'm not sure whether it's been rescheduled, but I would take Yoka by late stoppage, shadow combat. Unforeseen circumstances. Makes you wonder, Levi. Makes you wonder. But yeah, talented fighter, fun fighter. I always used to like watching him fight. Oh, he signed with PBC now. Okay. Yeah, Johnny Rice, though, he needs to get in shape because he does have some talent, but he needs to get in shape. But he does have some ability. Yeah, I'm not interested whatsoever in that. If he fights Ngannou next in boxing, then he needs to be flamed up. What I will say though, I wouldn't mind seeing Fury fighting Ngannou in boxing, but with UFC gloves. That'll be interesting. I'd watch that shit. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, in all seriousness, I just want to see Fury fight other heavyweights, bro. In all seriousness, he needs to fight a Dillian White and Andy Ruiz. Obviously, Usyk Joshua winner. There's a lot of guys out there for Tyson Fury. A lot of guys out there. I saw quotes, Andrew, but I've not seen it, but I've seen quotes. Yeah, I've seen quotes. He seems unsure of himself, Anthony Joshua, like he's forgot what got him to that level. Anthony Joshua, to me, at his best, was an aggressive, risk-taking boxer puncher. That's to me what Joshua was. But now it seems like he's in his own head. He doesn't really know what he wants to be. I'm not sure what the crack is with Joshua. I think mentally he's not really where he needs to be to fulfill his potential, because I do believe that there's more to Joshua. There could be more to Joshua if he's trained right, if he's in the right frame of mind. But right now, I just don't think he's where he needs to be at, So we'll see what happens. And bear in mind the trainer situation, that's still not resolved. There's a lot going on with Joshua right now. Stevenson versus Navarrete, who have you got? I would need to see Navarrete at 130 first. To be honest, I would need to see him at 130 first before I comment. But right now, gun to my head, I'd probably take Stevenson. You still watch Fino Boxing, the lady with a big for big Babylons? I watch her stuff occasionally. Del, this is what I want. Wilder knocking out White and Usyk winning against Fury. I would love that focus on creativity. I would love that. That'd be an amazing conclusion to the heavyweight picture. That'd be amazing. Because I actually low-key prefer Wilder to Dillian White, I'll be honest. I prefer watching him fight. I prefer the drama. I prefer everything about Wilder. I prefer to Dillian White. I think Wilder's just more entertaining to me than Dillian. Yeah, Jonathan Rice, he's got skills. He does have skills, just lazy. Don King will keep Brian out of harm's way. Then this time next year, we'll hear that Canelo is moving to heavyweight to fight him. Don't be surprised. They'll probably cash out Dubois just like David Price. Maybe. Not yet, though, Brandon. If he gets one more loss, then yeah, they'll start looking at that. But not right now. I can't see it. They'll try and rebuild him. 2029, Manuel Charr takes on Jonathan Goudry live on Showtime pay-per-view for all 9 unified heavyweight title belts. Big Babylons, indeed. Old Fino boxing. Old big titty Fino. Yeah, I've got Shakur right now, gun to my head, but I would need to see Navarrete fight at 130 first. Bofa versus Luis Ortiz. We got to take Luis Ortiz in the battle of the old boys. Yeah, to be fair, Shadow Combat, that's a really good card. Arunga Vasai Quadras 2, nothing more needs to be said. That's a great fight. And Smith versus Vargas, is it like... it doesn't really have any major consequences at 154 in regards to like world level, but it's a fun fight. It's a fun fight. I actually favor Liam Smith to win that fight as well. Yeah, I agree, Levi. As G-Man said, there's every chance that fight doesn't happen. Yeah, on DAZN, yeah. Runga Vasai Quadras 2 and Smith Vargas, yeah, that's on DAZN. Good card. Also on the 5th, you have, I think it's Eubank Williams on the 5th as well. So it's a good day of boxing, February the 5th. Big up to McGregor Boxing Talk. New sub, my friend. Great boxing talk. Thank you, man. I thought he was ill or got injured, Levi. Oh, sorry. I just read what you wrote. I catch you, man. I catch you. Yeah, it's a bit fishy, the Cash Ali retirement. Cash Ali, Cash Farooq. Yeah, Frank always used to be good at developing prospects, GB. But the problem is with Frank now, he doesn't really have a time to sit and wait and nurture these guys at a certain point in time, he needs to throw these guys in at the deep end. And I think some of his fighters are kind of suffering because of that, you know? Yeah, Michael Coffey. He looked interesting. Don't get me wrong. He looked interesting, XMB, but yeah. I mean, he started boxing late, so it's not surprising how it's turned out. A good step-up fight for Makhmudov. Well, he's fighting Marius Vac next, which is okay. After that, again, I'd be looking at guys like Ali Eren Demirezen. Who else could Makhmudov fight? Who could he fight? I'm not even sure who he could fight, you know. You know, somebody like Demirezen. I mean, he's not going to get Hellenius or somebody like that. It's who he can get, really, realistically. Just a tough trial horse, you know. But I don't even know. Yes, hit the like indeed. Rice said that he's quit working at a strip club and will be going pro for a year with full-time strength and conditioning coach to see where he ends up. Six-figure deal for 3 fights, I think. Interesting. Fair play to Johnny Rice, man. Hopefully it goes well. Seems like a good dude as well, actually. Johnny Rice, yeah. I was going to say Johnny Rice for Makhmudov, but yeah, no, Makhmudov's already beaten Johnny Rice. Yeah, the UFC versus boxing is bullshit, waste of time. They can't compete with each other in their respective sports. Yeah, but people like to debate it, the quags. I don't know why. I don't know why. Just leave these guys to do what they do, man. I agree. Pavel Sweet and Sour back in action in Czech Republic tomorrow. I still think Aram should jump on making Navarrete versus Martinez for a unified title fight. I agree. Martinez is very beatable right now, and he's a champion, so that makes sense. And it's a good fun fight as well. Yeah, Manuel Charles an idiot. You know, this is a guy who goes to fucking online beef and gets shot, so he's not the smartest tool in the box, is he? Manuel Char. He's not the smartest tool in the box. Nah, Duradola's done, man. He got fucked up by Richard Riakporhe, man. He got fucked up. On the boxing channel, no. Like it's mainly UK, America, some from Australia, some from New Zealand. That's like the core of my audience for the boxing channel. The second channel is just all over the place. It's all over the place, man. Any news on Boatsi? Not that I've heard, BG London. Not that I've heard. Eddie Hearn's mentioned Craig Richards, but that's really it. Yeah, that's it as well. Yep. Ramirez versus Pedraza on Feb 5th, as well as Furman Barrios. Yep. I like the Ramirez Pedraza fight as well. And as for Furman Barrios, if it wasn't pay per view, that would be an okay comeback fight. But that should not be on pay per view, man. I think he'll try and get him a WBO title shot, G-Man. I think he'll try, yeah. I think he'll see Joe Smith as a calculated risk worth taking. I really do. And to be honest, why not? I mean, Yard is what, 30, 31 now? Why not? If he can't beat Joe Smith, no disrespect to Joe, he's a good fighter, but if he can't beat Joe Smith, he's not gonna become a champion at light heavyweight because Joe is the weakest champion right now. Do you think Charlo beats Andrade? Jamal Charlo, yes, I do. If Jamal Charlo is at his best and sharp, I think he knocks Andrade out. Yeah, I do. No, I think he works in a strip club like as security. I'm assuming. Bold picks for 2022. AJ will fight once in 2022. Babbage will get KO'd at some point. The Zone will change its broadcast team. Canelo will fight Gennady Golovkin. Interesting. I agree with Babbage. I think he'll get knocked out. I agree with Joshua fighting once in 2022. The Zone have not really got faith in them to change their backroom team. And I don't think Canelo will fight Golovkin. I don't. I really don't. I think you'll see my surprise one for Canelo. You'll see Canelo versus Joe Smith. Interesting. Again, it's hard to say because listen, Tio might have been dead at 135 in his last fight. So adding a bit more weight, not having quite as big a weight cut, he could look like a different fighter. I wouldn't like to say, to be honest. It's always hard to say when somebody's moving up in weight. I always kind of try to stay clear of those sort of fights to pick him at least. Yeah, I'm seriously struggling to give AJ a chance in beating Usyk in the rematch if he can't get over his mental state hurdles, and also nail down a new trainer outside of the McCrappen EIS setup. Yeah, I agree. Everything seems up in the air now for Joshua, and going into that Usyk rematch with a new trainer, and you just have like 8-10 weeks to work with each other, I don't think it's the right idea. Honestly, I think Joshua should have changed trainer a long time ago after Ruiz won. Because we all knew how Joshua could beat Ruiz in that rematch. I think most of us knew. Well, I personally felt at least Joshua just made a silly mistake in that fight. He just got caught and that was it. Joshua was a better heavyweight than Ruiz. He just made a mistake. And in that rematch, it was obvious to see how he could win. Just keep it long, move on the back foot. Ruiz is short, he's fat, he's got slow feet. It doesn't take a genius to beat Ruiz, to see how Joshua beats Ruiz. I think at that point, Joshua should have got a new trainer to work on new things, to implement new styles, new techniques. I think doing that before a fight like Usyk in a rematch is going to be so hard because Usyk is hard to prepare for. You can't get sparring partners to mimic him. His game plan could be different on the night. He can adjust. He can adapt. Changing a trainer right before the Usyk fight could be detrimental, in my opinion. He should have done it a long time ago. I rate David Morrell, I really do, and I rate Benavidez. I need to see more of Morrell. I need to see a bit more of Morrell. Yeah, exactly, GB Guthrie, yeah. Rice does have talent, just not the dedication. We say that a lot about heavyweights, don't we? Yeah, I'd like to see Vlasov still shadow combat. I'd like to see Vlasov. If not Vlasov, maybe Craig Richards. I think Craig Richards would be a good fight for him. Dale, your BBWs probably want to lose weight as their New Year's resolution. How sad does that make you? Cheeky fucker. Oh, taking VO of Christopher Lovejoy, G-Man, the GOAT. There was no blueprint until Manuel Charr beat him. I've seen all this bullshit from these MMA guys. That guy. Like, I'm telling you, yeah, Ngannou doesn't beat Kamil Sakalovsky. If Kamil Sakalovsky had an 8-week training camp, Ngannou doesn't beat him in boxing. I don't even know anymore, BG London. Like, the interim is... There should be no interim champion if a champion isn't injured. The interim title should really only be used if the main champion can't defend for whatever reason. Let's say he's injured. That's when the interim title should be used. But I've got no idea why Dubois has that title, bro. No idea whatsoever. It's a crazy situation. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. At heavyweight, I would say Jonathan Rice, to be honest, Brandon. Brian Minto wasn't that durable at heavyweight. He was more of a come forward guy, whereas Rice can kind of, even if he loses, he'll make you look bad kind of thing. Like he made Tony Yoka look bad as well. Yeah, Kana Islam's been his career's been going at a snail's pace, bro. Oh my days! If that happens, bro, both guys should be fucking stripped. Yeah, that was bro, but I think I'm just being biased, mate. I just don't like Andrade's style. I prefer Charlo's style, boxer puncher. Yeah, he's a bit limited, but at least he goes for a knockout. I just don't like watching Andrade fight for the most part. So I'd be rooting for Charlo, to be honest. I just and I do think he can win that fight as well. I do genuinely think he can win. Yeah, yeah, should be going down in January. Yeah, Simon Keane would be a good opponent for Makhmudov. That'll be a decent opponent as well. I agree. I've got Gary winning, but Mark Magsayo, he's big and he can punch. He's quite basic, but he's dangerous. But I've got Gary winning on points. Maybe, but I understand why they did that, bro. I understand. I think the biggest mistake was not changing trainer after Ruiz won. I know it's always easy to say after your first loss, I'll change trainer, but I just think the circumstances required it in that case. I really did, man. And maybe going into this rematch with Usyk with a new trainer, we'll look back on that as a big mistake. But I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. Joshua has been, for his first few title defenses, was learning on the job, to be honest. Yeah, Chisora doesn't give a fuck. If Chisora wants that fight and he can get it, fair enough. But I just think that ends badly for him now. People are saying, well, listen, Wilder's coming off two back-to-back losses. Yeah, he is, and he took a beating in both. But really, when you look at Wilder's career, he's had 40-odd fights, and he's taken two bad beatings. He's not taken too much punishment, whereas Chisora, man, Chisora's been beat up his whole career. And we saw in that Parker fight, to me, Chisora's punch resistance is at an all-time low. Going into that, Wilder would clean that dude out. A few years ago, yeah, Chisora could give Wilder problems, but not now. I mean, he could, but I think he'll walk onto one and get fucked up, man. I really do. I wonder if Tyson Fury would fight Christopher Lovejoy. I wouldn't put it past Tyson, big boys boxing. Anything's possible. Boldest pick for 2022: Dave Allen wins a British title or gets brutally KO'd. I think brutally KO'd, G-Man, is the more sensible pick. I would say. Now Prince Charles, man, he's saying he wants to continue. He wants one more run. Big up to Snowman. Salute to Snowman. The COVID issue is as intense. Race issue, it exists in the UK, but I don't think it's quite as prevalent as in the US. But that's just my assumption. That's just my interpretation. But yeah, the COVID issue is as big. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Manny Ofen. Yeah, the legend, 55-1 from Thailand, back in action. Yep. Boldest pick of 2022: Gervonta Davis doesn't fight a quality top four opponents. I think that's a safe bet. Who's going to lose? Who's going to lose next year? Like an unbeaten fighter who's got a lot of hype, a lot of fanfare. Which unbeaten fighter loses in 2022? Which unbeaten fighter loses this year? I'm trying to think. If Ryan Garcia was more active, I might say Ryan. but he might only fight once this year, knowing him. 2022, who loses? I can't say Fury because I've got no idea what Fury is even going to do. I can't count on him even fighting. I can't even answer my own question. I'll be interested, though, to hear what you guys think. Boldest pick of 2022, White walking out of the Fury negotiations. Interesting. I don't think he will, to be honest. I think he'll fight to the bitter end. I think he'll try and take it to court. Great fight, Rio, but I've got Martinez. Late stoppage, but it's a great fight. Joshua should have left Hearn after the Klitschko fight. That's still his career-defining fight to this day. I wouldn't say have left Hearn, but I think they should have gone. They should have really tried to conquer America sooner. Weirdly, Big Boys Boxing, I said years ago, I think it was on a Hatman video because I saw the comment years later. I said like years and years and years ago that Joshua should go to the Kronk and go with Sugar Hill. I think the Kronk is ideal for Joshua, to be honest. But obviously that's not going to happen now. Oh yeah, Chisora would fuck up Ngannou, GB Guthrie. And I've not seen Peter McGrail fight. I've not seen him fight yet as a pro. Rungvisai, I would say Rio. I think Rungvisai. Big call for 2022. Canelo cleans out 175. Yeah, I agree, actually, BG London. It's pointless trying to decode Joshua interviews. Just wait and see, in my opinion. Yeah, I think you're right, bro. I think sometimes he just tries to say things for saying things' sake. But again, the problem with Joshua, I always get the impression that he's trying to please too many people, trying to say things that people want to hear, more so than following his own intuition. I think he's in his own head, basically, and that's holding him back. I think he's a really good heavyweight, Anthony Joshua. Yeah, I think his fans kind of wind me up sometimes, but he's a really good heavyweight. But mentally, he's not quite where he needs to be right now. And if he gets that right, I think he can be a threat again in the heavyweight division. He's a threat now, don't get me wrong, but Davis versus Romero, biggest fight of 2022. Conor Benn will lose to Kell Brook in 2022. That's an interesting one. Yeah, man, what a waste. What a waste of a career. See, I've not even seen the cause yet. All I've seen is health concerns or unforeseen health issues. Let me go on Twitter, have a look. Sad though, he was a good fighter, man. A really good fighter. Fun fighter to watch as well. But I've not seen like an official reason for his retirement yet. Shame, man. Devin Haney will lose this year. It depends on who he fights. That's the problem. Like, we could say that's the problem. We've not really got a clue who's going to fight who. I think William Zepeda is going to be the breakout star at lightweight this year. William Zepeda. I think he's going to do big things. I think he's a real dangerous lightweight, Zepeda. He's a pressure fighter from Mexico, southpaw, 5'9.5", technically quite sound. He's not like a Margarito type. He's more refined than that, but he's got nice punch technique, power in both hands, good volume, good work rate, great body puncher. He's got that proper Mexican style, you know. I'm not going to say like Chavez, but similar in regards to how methodical he is at applying pressure. Keep an eye out for William Zepeda. That kid is very good. And I'll tell you what, I'd love to see William Zepeda versus Devin Haney. That'd be a great fight. Boldest pick for 2022. You do a face reveal and announce Shannon Courtney as your lover. Fucking hell. Another one of E4 princesses will lose this year, at least one of them. Fucking hell, what's going on here? To be fair, XMB, he might actually beat Lovejoy. Lovejoy is that bad. Wouldn't be surprised, bro. David Price could come back and knock Ngannou without even trying too hard for the knockout. I agree. Pavlik beats Janibek, and Arthur Abraham beats Munguia at 160, I would say. Better to be a gardener at the war than a warrior in the garden, indeed. Maybe I'm a retard, but I still don't know what that means. Yeah, exactly. At least he's got something to fall back on. Yeah, I like Zepeda, man. He's got a good style. He's got a good style, man. And he's quite sneaky as well. He's a pressure fighter, but he can box a little bit. I've seen him do some sneaky little things, like he'll kind of stand off you for a bit. He'll throw a jab, draw the lead, and he'll tag you with his counter right hook, like his check right hook. Little things like that. He'll try and add little things in there as well, other than his pressure. I like him. I think he's very good. You too, Triple J, man. Happy New Year, man. Hopefully you have a good one. Until Shakur Stevenson beats Archie Sharp, I'm staying reserved on him. I think Babic is clout chasing, to be honest. Derek, I don't believe Babic at all. I really don't. Exactly, official. And going into that fight, Tanajara was he was like the promoter's favorite. He was the guy that was building up. So, and William Zepeda just ripped up that script and fucked him up. Nah, not really, man. Not really. Maxi's done well, but he doesn't deserve that sort of fight, in my opinion. Honestly. Big up to Mad Chad. I get you, Nordic. It's an easy payday. It's easy to promote. Yeah, I agree. There's this random like bot accounts coming in sometimes. It's really weird. Yeah, I'd say either late stoppage or points Golovkin, I would say. Big up to Sublime. Good evening, brother. Good evening. Boldest 2022 prediction. PBC will do an event this year involving C-level fighters that isn't on pay-per-view. Al Heyman Jumble Sale. Fucking hell. I think Golovkin definitely beats Abraham at 160, but I think he does it on points. Abraham's high guard was great. Very hard to penetrate, and he was very tough as well. I would take Golovkin on points. Yeah, I would as well, G-Man, yeah. That's really Ngannou's level, though, those sort of guys. Favorite female boxer? Well, you didn't say for which reason, BG London. So it's not for fighting ability, it's how they look. So I would say I do like that Sky Nicholson. She looks quite cute. Alicia Baumgartner, I quite like as well. I'd say Alicia. Yeah, last bold pick. Dell starts an OnlyFans account with the catch must be woman 20 stones plus to get access. Fucking hell. That is true, actually. That's a very good point. I forgot about that, Nordic. Yeah, Hergovich did refuse to fight with no crowds, and now he's complaining that he can't get a fight. That's what happens when you have nothing to offer. That's a good point. He could have been building his profile in that time. That is a very good point. I totally forgot that as well. That's a very good point. Oh, James Tony all day long, Brandon. I liked Pirog as well. Very talented, but Tony. I take Tony on point. Tony, yeah, Tony late stoppage, I'd say. Oh, big up to Nadeem, man. Long time no see. Well, I see you on Twitter, smashing out your viral tweets. But don't often catch these, but listening up while at work. Peace, Del. Big up to yourself, Nadeem, man. Thank you for the contribution. Hopefully, hopefully you enjoyed the holiday festivities and enjoyed your time off, man. Big up to Nadeem, man. Big up. Oh Christ! Biggest prediction: White comes out of a closet, has a sex change, and finally wins a world title at heavyweight. True crime. G-Man's favorites. Favorite female boxer in terms of looks is Sky Nicholson. Favorite fighter Savannah Marshall. Maybe that's the risk he's taking right now. Nordic. How old is he? 29 now. 29, 30-ish, in and around that ballpark. So he's got time, but it needs to be now before he stagnates. Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Anybody with ambition he needs to fight, because so far he's just feasted on journeymen and, gatekeepers. I think he'd beat Ortiz as well, but it'd still be a good test. Even old Ortiz would be his best opponent, you know. But yeah, I'll take Hergovich as well. Michael Nunn, Joe Calzaghe at 168. Michael Nunn had a beautiful jab, excellent outboxer, and I think he would give Joe problems. But the work rate comes with Joe, and he's got the speed to match Michael Nunn. I'd probably say Calzaghe in a competitive points win, to be honest, but it's a good fight. Exactly, man. He that's what I'm saying. Like, people they overplay their hand. A lot of fighters overplay their hand when they're not really the star they think they are, and they find themselves in terrible positions. I think we see that with Dillian White. And don't get me wrong, in regards to Dillian White, there have been far worse fighters getting heavyweight title shots. That's not really the debate, though. It's my whole thing is my gripe. Sorry, is he's had opportunities, like you said. He's had chances, but he's never taken them. A lot of like British fighters and American fighters are so spoiled. Everything has to be on their terms, kind of thing. Everything has to be on their terms. Yeah, I'd say Calzaghe on points. I think he outworks Michael Nunn, but I think Nunn's style would definitely give Joe problems. Yeah, Collins was decent, man. Collins was decent. I went back and watched more Collins recently. I actually watched one of his fights with Mark and Nordic against Sumbu Kalambe, and yeah, I think he was a bit underrated, Steve Collins. I think he was decent. How would he fare now? I think he could beat a guy like Caleb Plant. I really do. I think he could beat a guy like Caleb Plant. I think he might struggle with Benavidez with like the pure size and output, but I think he'd beat Caleb Plant. Yeah, Steve's underrated in my opinion, and I hate him. Yeah, I mean Hergovich, man, we'll see what happens. I hope it pans out for him. I hope he gets a big fight, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I think the Eubanks overestimated their worth on the ITV days. After the Groves loss, he's never had the same spark here. He needs to get that Williams fight and win, and argue and hopefully win in good fashion. That's what he needs, Eubank Jr. It's a good fight. It's a good test for Eubank right now, Liam Williams. It's the ideal fight before he goes back to world level. If he can take care of Liam Williams in good fashion, then yeah, Eubank needs to go back to world level. Because Liam Williams, to me, Liam Williams isn't world level, but he's not domestic level either. You know, I'd say he's probably high level European, maybe fringe world level. So if Eubank wins that fight comfortably and does well, then yeah, Eubank definitely needs to go back to world level. But he needs a good performance, Eubank. He's gone under the radar for a long time now. Yeah, he was a hard man, Steve Collins, and like you said, he could box and he could fight. Trinidad. I would take Trinidad, and maybe he even knocks out Margarito, because I know Margarito had a great chin, but Margarito primarily he was taking those shots from smaller welterweights. Felix Trinidad was a big welterweight, and he could really punch. I would take Trinidad by knockout, actually. Trinidad by knockout. I think he knocks out Margarito. I really do. Yeah, I mean, I think Steve Collins would have always beat Eubank. Like, people make out like Eubank was shot. He wasn't. Collins was the first man to officially beat him. I think Collins would have always beat Eubank. Nigel Benn was way past it when Collins fought him. To be honest, Nigel Benn was way past it, no doubt about it. But even then, Steve Collins was a better boxer than Nigel. But Nigel in his prime was so ferocious, so powerful. Nigel Benn versus a prime Ben versus Collins would be a great fight. I still might favor Collins, by the way. Be a great fight though. That would have been a good fight as well. Robin Reed was underrated in my opinion. I know he was dirty, but he was good at what he did. Like, I think Carl Froch said that Robin Reed was the hardest he'd ever been hit. I'm pretty sure. Like, he could punch Robin Reed. Yeah, I agree, G-Man. Yeah, Williams and Booth is just a head shaker. Styles don't gel yet. I can't see it either, true crime, with G-Man. I can't see it either. When you think of Adam Booth, you think of an athletic fighter who can mill around on the outside and ambush kind of thing with power. Liam Williams isn't that sort of guy. Unless they try and make Liam Williams box again. If you go back and watch Liam Williams against Liam Smith in their first fight, Liam Williams wasn't really pressure fighting. He was boxing, like he was being like a boxer puncher in that fight. Maybe they'll try and get Liam Williams to box again. I don't know. Because as we know, Eubank struggles with a jab and a bit of movement. So who knows? But I can't see Adam Booth really doing too much with Liam. Who knows, though? I agree. I agree. Yeah, and that shook Eubank as well, believe it or not. That shook Eubank when Collins was under hypnosis. Yeah, I think so as well, Nordic. I think he gets to Margarito. I think it would be competitive, but I just think Trinidad's more hurtful with his punches. I think he gets to Margarito late on, I agree. Kiko versus Warrington done for March. I mean, it's okay, man, but how the whole situation turned out was embarrassing, man. I actually hope Kiko wins, but he's not going to. Kiko's shot. He kind of just proved a perfect punch against Galahad. Exactly, yeah. Margarito had a great chin, but he got hit way too much. Yeah, indeed. Honestly, as much as I don't like him, I'd say Canelo Alvarez beats Sergio Martinez. Martinez makes too many mistakes. He'll get caught eventually. and he'll get hurt. I mean, guys like Matthew Macklin, Darren Barker, a welterweight Paul Williams, these sort of guys were giving fucking Sergio Martinez problems, you know. I think Canelo would have beaten Martinez, honestly. Yeah, Ben left himself in the ring that night when he fought McClellan, I agree. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, can Ben's tenacity and aggressiveness and power overcome Collins' boxing skills, prime for prime? Probably not, to be honest. Like, Steve himself was very tough, so it'll take a hell of a shot to knock out Steve Collins. You're probably right, to be honest. You'd probably pick Ben. Sorry, you'd probably pick Collins. I'd say Collins on points, though. A bold pick, 2022. Mikey Garcia fights at 154 to 168 because he sees something. He's going to see CTE, man, if he goes up there. Yep, Reed had legit power and was sneaky with his dirty tactics. He could also make a fight very ugly on a good night. Yeah, indeed. He was one of those guys who could really disrupt your rhythm and just make it ugly as fuck. Yeah, go to Adam Booth. Yes, yeah. Prince Nazim in this era would have made so much more money. He would have made so much more money. I think Golovkin beats Martinez, Sturm, Quillen, and Pirog. I think he beats all of them, to be honest. Like prime for prime against each other, I think he beats all of them. Probably Martinez being the hardest fight, most dangerous. But I'd say Golovkin beats all of them. Froch versus Reed would have been a much better fight if Reed was a bit younger. Would actually favour Reed on points in his prime. Would have been a great fight, man. Both guys were no strangers to being a bit dirty, you know, forearming, elbowing, holding and hitting, etc. That would have been a real rough and tumble fight. I would have still picked Froch, but on points in a close fight. Yeah, he'll beat Martinez easily in the rematch, in my opinion. Having said that, though, maybe Warrington's chin's been cracked. You never know. It'd be interesting if Kiko lands hard early on. But I think Warrington beats him easily in this rematch. Yeah, Margarito did stop. Yeah, he stopped Martinez very early in Martinez's career. I think that was Martinez's first fight in America when he fought Margarito. That was back in like 2001, I believe, or 2002. Big up to Bruce Goes every single time. Big up to Bruce. Yeah, 26th, Kiko Martinez, Josh Warrington. There's been loads of these like spam, like YouTube bots on people's chats recently. I would need to think about it. Shadow combat. So power, I'd actually go with Julian Jackson, speed, Amir Khan, chin, Gennady Golovkin, footwork. Footwork, Lomachenko. IQ. Mayweather, and mentality, Marquez. There you go. Yeah, that was hilarious, man. Like Collins was taking no shit, man. Everyone kind of like just ganged up on him. Yeah, exactly. He started boxing at 20, 21 years old, Sergio Martinez, something like that. So he done very well considering. Carnbrook, I mean, it's at 149 catch weight with a rehydration clause. So honestly, if that fight was at 154 with no weight clauses, I'd pick Brook. But because it's at 149, like right now, I'm kind of favouring Khan, believe it or not. I'm kind of favouring Khan. Yeah, he was pissed, man. Steve Collins was pissed at Roy. Yeah, that's hilarious, man. If you've not seen it, check out the 168 Gloves Are Off. So it's got Roy Jones, Steve Collins, Chris Eubank, and Richie Woodall, I believe. And there might have been somebody else as well. Ah, you're not serious, man. Listen, Munguia had a good year, but that's a shit fight. Are you serious? Demetrius Ballard, that's a garbage fight. That's a bad fight. I don't. According to the British Boxing Board of Control, it's not going to get cancelled, but things can change. And knowing this country, it could happen, bro. It could happen. So fingers crossed it happens, though. Fingers crossed that fight actually takes place when it should do. But given the climate right now, don't be surprised if it does get cancelled or get postponed at least. Don't be surprised, Gaza. Don't be surprised. Golovkin's chin, Prime Pacquiao's hand speed, and Benavidez' stepmother. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you on that. Apparently, he's got an announcement coming soon, but when that'll come, the Londoner in the sticks, I've got no idea. Yeah, that was hilarious, Nordic. Seeing it was basically just seeing Eubank and Collins go at it. That's what made that episode so good. Kawasaki was the other guy. Yeah, Kawasaki was there, and he seems like really content, like super happy with himself, no regrets kind of thing. Whereas like Collins did come across really bitter. I'm not gonna lie, he came across super bitter. Do you think Golovkin could have beaten everyone Canelo has fought since the second fight? Who's Canelo fought again? Plant, Kovalev, Saunders, Yildirim, and there's somebody else I'm missing, I'm sure. But do I think Golovkin could have beaten everybody Canelo's fought since the second fight? I definitely think he would have beaten Saunders. I definitely think he would have beaten Plant. He would have definitely beaten Yildirim. Kovalev, it depends what Kovalev shows up, because if it was Kovalev from Yard, I'm not sure, to be honest. And Callum Smith, I think he'd have beaten Callum Smith as well. Probably, you know, he probably would have beaten them. He probably would have beaten them all, to be fair. Yeah, yeah. I liked the part when Eubank accuses him of ducking Joe, and he says he didn't even know who Joe was. Then later says he was training to fight Joe. Exactly, yeah. That's a shit fight, man. I like Munguia as well. I do like Munguia, but listen, that's a garbage fight. Rosado was good at the time, but you need to be building. You need to be moving forwards. You know, that's a backward step. It's a backward step, man. It's a shit fight. It's a shit fight. Good fight. If Teofimo takes that fight, Brandon Lee, as his first fight at 140, I'd actually give Teo a lot of credit, because that's a dangerous fight. I don't think he'll take that fight for his first fight. I'll be surprised. If he does, though, he gets credit from me, because that's dangerous and he could lose. I'll give him credit. I'll tell you what, if Teo fights Jose Zepeda in his first fight at 140, coming off a loss, and he wins, that's a hell of a comeback. So hopefully he does that. There's too much fucking waiting around, rebuilding after losses. Fuck that shit. Go right back in there. Fuck it. That's what I want to see from Teo. If he does that, he gets my respect, and I'll be happy with him. I'll be happy with him if he fights Zepeda next. Be no complaints from me. Hergovich easily. He might as well be BG London. He could be in a fucking jail cell soon. Who knows? But yeah, I've got no interest in Billy Joe again. He wasted his career. Yeah, Eubank is a proper shithouse, man. Eubank was hilarious in that. He knew exactly what to say to get under Steve's skin. Like even though Steve beat him twice, like Eubank still just got under his skin, man. It's crazy. But yeah, that was a great show. Like Roy Jones came across pretty well in that as well, actually. Like Joe was pretty humble. Roy Jones was he was pretty humble to be honest. Richie Woodall, like Nordic said, was super humble. It was mainly just Eubank and Collins going at it. It was fucking jokes. Hergovich easily, Ed Kaler. Hergovich by early knockout, domination, destruction. I've got Ramirez to win that one on points. I know Pedraza's losses have all come to southpaws. I get that, and I know Ramirez isn't a southpaw, but I think Ramirez's size and pressure will get too much. It will get the better of Pedraza. Pedraza is a really good boxer. He's got a beautiful rhythm, lovely jab, great straight punches. He can mix it up. He's a really nice boxer, but I just think Ramirez is too rough and rugged. You know, I think he'll outman him, kind of thing. Probably on points. Great fight though. But you know, I mean, Pedraza, in my opinion, doesn't really get enough credit. Like he'll fight anybody, and like I say, he's a beautiful boxer to watch. Pedraza, I think he's a really good boxer to watch. That's a great fight. Yeah, he needs to get Joey Gamache back, Mad Chad. That's what he needs to do. He needs to get Joey back, but who knows? Maybe they've burnt bridges because Joey, in my opinion, was the best thing to happen to Tio. To be fair, listen, Roy's career, he could have fought a couple more guys, no doubt about it. But when I hear Roy speak, I always think he comes across quite decent. To be honest, doesn't come across like a nasty person. Do you know what I mean? When you hear some people on interviews, they just come across a certain way. Like Roy Jones actually comes across okay. I agree, Mad Chad. I agree. If the clown Warrington's getting a title shot at Martinez over Lara, I'm disgusted. Yeah, it's crazy, man. That's boxing though. So Warrington vacates his title to not fight Galahad, proceeds to get knocked out by Lara. Galahad wins a vacant title. Galahad proceeds to get knocked out by Martinez. And now we have Warrington fighting Martinez, a guy he's already beat, to fight for his old title that he vacated. What a joke of a situation. Absolute joke of a situation. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. He might be, you know. I'm not a historian, though, BG London. I'm not a historian, so you're asking the wrong guy. But I think Ike Ibuche would have become a champion if he never went crazy, because he was coming in around the late 90s. So Tyson was past his best. Holyfield was past his best. The belts were becoming a little bit fragmented. I don't think he would have beaten Lewis in the late 90s, but I think he would have beaten most other guys, to be honest. And he could have picked up a title. Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Maybe Kiko can land something early, but I can't see it. I can't see it. Bold opinion, Del Boy. Bold opinion. Del Boy will take a Hergovich fight in 2022. To be fair to Chisora, he'll take it. I think he'll take it. That is true, actually, because that second fight had a lot of excitement over it, and it ended the way it did. Because believe it or not, for whatever reason, that was one of the fights I was so hyped for last year. I don't know why. I've got no idea why, but I was so hyped for that fight. So hyped for the rematch. Mm, I think Rivas cleans out Babic, to be honest. I think he knocks him out. That's what I saw intangible. To me, it looked like Warrington was feeling that power in that second round, and he was getting flashbacks. That's what I saw personally. I think he'd have got knocked out again. I really do. It's always these unknown Mexicans, man. Yeah, I don't think Pedraza's in the gatekeeper status just yet. To be honest, I think he's too good for that, and his record's still pretty decent. But yeah, Jerry Gonzalez, even Jerry Gonzalez, man, I wouldn't call him a gatekeeper. I would just call him a fringe contender. Like to me, a gatekeeper is like Rosado, for example. You know, maybe Chisora. He's a gatekeeper. Those sort of guys. I don't think either guy's really a gatekeeper just yet. Based on what I saw from Riziki against uh, Rivas, I think Riziki will beat fucking Babic. To be honest, that Riziki's got a good chin. Good chin. Yeah, I agree. Intangible. I wouldn't call Pedraza a gatekeeper. Not yet, at least. Do you think guys like Boots and Virgil will have to wait for Bud and Spence to move up to 154 to get a title shot? Because I feel they will. Maybe, maybe, but I mean, like Virgil Ortiz is highly ranked, and he's out here turning down eliminators. So I'm not sure what his deal is. Virgil Ortiz. He could have fought Avanesian for a WBC eliminator, but he turned it down apparently. So I'm not sure what the deal is with those guys. I'm not sure what the deal is. I don't think they'll go near. Honestly, I don't think they'll go near Kamil Sakalovsky yet. I think it's too early. They'll wait. They'll wait 2 or 3 fights because Sakalovsky could expose Johnny Fisher. I don't think he is, man. I think he'll lose, but I think he'll give a good account of himself. I think he'll give Ramirez trouble. Maybe, yeah, maybe. But even then, is 3 or 4 losses enough to call you a gatekeeper? Yeah, I agree. I think Pedraza will give Ramirez problems. I really do. Like he's a beautiful boxer, Pedraza. He's a really good boxer. Good fight. I'm not as high on these McKenna kids as a lot of people are. You know, they've looked good knocking over scrubs, but it's too early to say ultimately. But it'd be a good fight. Babic may have less boxing skills than Kimbo Slice. Fair enough, TJ, man. I mean, you might be right. You never know, bro. You never know. But I do think he'll give Ramirez problems. You think it's going to be worse than the tank beating? Okay. The Romford Bull is the only British heavyweight I like. You're not partial to a bit of Huey Fury, intangible. You got to like a bit of Huey Fury. Yeah, that would have been a great fight. But there you go. There you go. Favorite boxing documentary. I really enjoyed the old HBO Greatest Nights documentaries. No, HBO. What was it called? HBO's Legendary Nights, and they would go just historic fights on HBO. So like, fucking, I don't know, Meldrick Taylor versus Chavez, those sort of fights. They'd go over them, that sort of thing. But they were my favorite boxing documentaries. Big up to Mad Chad. Thank you very much, man. Top 5 pound for pound on Mad Chad's boxing channels on YouTube list. Big up to Mad Chad. I think he might give Ortiz some issues early on, being awkward and whatnot, like the first round or two. But I think he'll get. I think he'll get dog walked soon after that. I think he'll get dog walked Ortiz. Ortiz will dog walk McKinson after a couple of rounds. Yeah, it's a shit fight, really. I do like McKinson, but that's too much of a step up. He's going to get fucked up. Like, let's be honest, yeah. McKinson, like Conor Benn should be fighting a McKinson. Will there ever be another great Canadian fighter like Lennox Lewis? Big up to Simon. Was it Simon Keane? I can't see anybody on the horizon right now in Canada, to be honest. Like, not a purebred Canadian anyway. I can't see it. Yeah, I mean, listen, I generate more power when I'm having a wank than Michael McKinson does when he's punching. Yeah, exactly, bro. He might have a couple of issues early on, just with the movement, the herky jerky nature of McKinson's style. But eventually, Ortiz is just going to go through this guy like a doorway, and I don't think it'll take long. It'll take a couple of rounds maybe before he starts finding McKinson. Absolutely, TJ. Absolutely. And yeah, Hooker had power. I think Chisora's too early for Anderson. For Anderson, again, somebody like a Johnny Rice would suffice. But obviously, Johnny Rice is PBC, so that's not going to happen. Jerry Forrest maybe would be a good fight for a big baby Anderson. Somebody like that. Even like Jerry DeWaco. Somebody who can go rounds. I think that's what Anderson needs right now. A guy who could take him a few rounds. Yeah, Beterbiev's Canadian. Believe it or not, I actually think Catterall is going to give Taylor a couple of problems. I'm not saying he's going to win. I think Taylor wins. Don't get me wrong, but I do believe Catterall will. He'll make a good account of himself. You know, I think he'll do okay. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But I don't think Catterall's a bad fighter. He's kind of tricky. He's awkward. He's a southpaw as well. Obviously, pretty accurate, pretty economical. Yeah, Conor Benn, I'm not really interested, bro, with Conor Benn right now, Volta. Like, wake me up when he takes a good fight. That's all I'll say. But until then, I'm not particularly interested in Conor. His shtick is getting really old. You know, I'm a real fighter. All that bullshit. I'm from Essex. It's getting boring, man. Conor Benn. Heated seats in my Range Rover, but I can fight. I'm a fighter. All right, mate. I think Cody Crowley would be a good opponent for what's his face, Jaron Ennis. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Yeah, that was terrible, Volta. Like, Sakalowski clearly won that fight. Yeah, I think he's good as well, TJ. But yeah, I make you right. I don't think he'll become a champion. Bogdan Dinu. I mean, Bogdan Dinu's got some skills, but he's got no chin and no chin, sorry, and no heart. So, Mad Chad, Snack has signed Bud, Big Baby Anderson, Shakur, Boots, Devin Haney, and I think AJ should get on the Snack train. The only chance he's got to beat Usyk. Oh, it's a good fight. It's a very good fight. I don't think that fight goes for distance either. I think somebody gets knocked out. Boots is quicker and more athletically gifted, and he does have power. So he could catch Ortiz coming in. But I think Ortiz is technically more well-rounded. He keeps better balance. I think he bases things off a jab more, for example. You know, I think he's got better punch technique all around. To me, that's a 50-50 fight, honestly. Ortiz and Ennis. Somebody gets knocked out, though. No. No, 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 no. Taylor beats Lopez. And like TJ said, I felt the same way as well. Even before Lopez lost, I was going with Taylor. Yeah, I think Montana Love is good. Yeah, I'm crushing it in the gym. Yeah, it's just like the Conor Ben. It's the sound bites, man, with Conor Ben that gets on my nerves. It's just the sound bites. Nordic's not having it. Nordic's not having it. Imagine if Kambosos fought Taylor. Yeah, like Kambosos is a real size lightweight. He'd get fucked up by Taylor. That's true as well. We've actually seen Ortiz take a punch against a decent puncher in Hooker. So we know Ortiz has at least a decent chin. At least a decent chin. Yeah, right now I'd take Terence Crawford over Taylor at welterweight. But again, for me, it's always hard to say with a guy moving up in weight. For all we know, Taylor could be stronger. He could be hitting harder at 147. It's hard to say when you've not seen a guy at the weight. So in an ideal world, I'd like Taylor to go up and fight like a fringe level guy first at welterweight to get used to the weight and see what he has before we predict those sort of fights. Exactly. Yeah, we've seen. Yeah, indeed, we've seen Ortiz get hit by Kavalauskas and Hooker, and he got through it. So yeah, I agree, TJ. I agree. Yeah, Kambosos. I wouldn't say he's small at 135. He's just a real lightweight. TJ's got Bud stopping Taylor. Ennis is the first man to knock out Broner, in my opinion. I got Emmanuel Navarrete, to beat Leo Santa Cruz. I think Leo Santa Cruz is done. Yeah, I mean, any prospect who is getting highly touted without beating anybody is getting overhyped. But I understand why people are excited about him. He's got an exciting style. He can punch. He's quick. I understand why people are excited. I like to gas up prospects. I like doing it. I like to look at young guys coming up, guys who could be the next star. I find that interesting. I find that interesting. I like trying to pick out the next guy, kind of thing. I find that interesting. So I can see why people are excited by Ennis. I am. I think Ennis is a good fighter, really good talent. But yeah, Ennis is going to be a problem. I'm telling you. I think he's going to be a problem. People say about his boxing skills, he relies too much on speed and athleticism and power. I get that, and he does get caught at times. But, I mean, he's a big welterweight. That might be enough. Just the athletic ability. It could be enough. Ritson has no defense, so O'Hara Davis could knock him out, but Ritson could outwork O'Hara Davis. That's a 50-50 fight to me. Either Ritson gets knocked out or he outworks Davis. One of the two. I think he's good, man. I think Ennis is good. I'd rather see Morrell versus Benavidez and Anthony. I'd rather see David Morrell versus David Benavidez. That's a great fight. Will Undisputed happen this year at heavyweight? Your house is on the line, Dell. No, it doesn't happen. Undisputed doesn't happen this year. No. I don't think it will. Something will go wrong. Something will go wrong. Somebody will get injured. A mandatory is going to be called. One of the belts gets vacated. Something goes wrong. We won't get undisputed this year. What's next for Melikuziev and Cash Ali? Melikuziev, I've got no idea, man. Honestly, he come back with a win recently in Uzbekistan at light heavyweight. Maybe someone like Rocky Fielding for Melikuziev. As for Cash Ali, man, maybe Dave Allen. Maybe Dave Allen. Dave Allen for Cash Ali. Yeah, Dave Allen. Yep. Yeah, snack fighters can cut weight like never seen before in the history of boxing. Cunty a cheat. I tell you what, though, Mad Chad, way before Snack, look at Chavez Jr. at middleweight. How he made middleweight is beyond me. Well, I know how he made middleweight. How he made middleweight and never got caught for anything is beyond me. That AJ beats Usyk and they have a trilogy. Fucking hell. If Joshua beats Usyk, there's not going to be a trilogy. Joshua would move on. Joshua would move on, in my opinion. I don't think he'd fight Usyk again if he wins. Which would be unfortunate, but I don't think he'll fight Usyk again if he wins. I understand why he never fought Ruiz again, to be honest. After how Ruiz turned up in that second fight, I understand why Joshua never fought him again. But I can't count on these heavyweights, e-machines. If Usyk still holds those belts, then we've got a chance. Because Usyk has always delivered in his career. He's always delivered, but I can't trust these other heavyweights. I can't. I can trust Usyk. He's constantly delivered. As a boxing fan, ever since Usyk's been a world champion, he's constantly delivered. Even his voluntary defenses at cruiserweight were the likes of Michael Hunter, Tabisu Machunu, world-class guys. Even his voluntary title defenses. And when he wasn't making voluntaries, he was unifying away from home. So Usyk, to me, he's always delivered. So if he's a champion and he's a unified champion, we could get undisputed. If he's not the unified champion, maybe not. Maybe not. I think he'll have a couple more 8-rounders, Anthony. There's no rush. He's only like 19 years old, Xander Zayas. So they'll have a couple more 8-rounders and go from there. But I don't think you'll see anybody. He won't be in there with anybody of consequence for a little while yet. Yeah, I think Chavez beats Jake Paul. But again, if it's a real fight, that is, I think Chavez wins. Cash Ali versus Diabetes. That's a good shout. Yeah, Tyson Fury to become WWE champion and throw the WBC in the bin. Yep. To be fair, the guy he fought was Sergey Ekimov. He's never been stopped. He's a really tough guy. So I wasn't surprised he never got the stoppage. It's probably good for him, actually. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we'll see step-ups for a couple of years with Xander Zayas. I wouldn't say ATG level potential. It's too early to say, but he's very exciting, and he's from Puerto Rico as well. So they need a star Puerto Rico. So maybe he's the guy. Yeah, that sucks. We was talking about that earlier, Alex. That really fucking sucks. He was a really fun fighter to watch. Cash Farooq, really good fighter to watch. Big up to James. Big up to Derek. Yeah, illness or some sort of medical issue. Armchair warrior. Ortiz saw Jesus being born. He also sparred Jack Johnson. Yeah, he was teaching Jack Johnson the ropes. Wouldn't be shocked. Wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, exactly. We don't really know yet. But whatever it is, hopefully he gets well. That's the main thing. Like, forget boxing. Hopefully he's okay. Lesnar versus Fury at WrestleMania. I'll watch WWE just for that. Brock Lesnar's going to give him a fucking F5. You can get seriously fucked up though in wrestling. You know, I know it's scripted, but you can get seriously fucked up. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's really weird. Ortiz was good friends with Adam from Adam and Eve. Oh, fuck you know. Luis Ortiz, man. I do feel for Luis Ortiz a bit. I know I went in on him the other day for ducking Hergovich, but I do feel for Luis Ortiz a bit, you know. I feel like he's been like led down the garden path, so to speak, like his whole career. Like having to turn like that couldn't have been his decision to turn down the Joshua fight. I think his own manager actually came out and said we fucked up. We fucked up. But there you go. It is what it is. Yeah, he looked ill last time I saw him in the face. Looked ill in the face. But yeah, it's fucked up, man. It's always a shame to see a young guy retire like that who had potential and talent. Very good fighter, man. Was he the youngest world champion of all time? 17 years old. Incredibly talented fighter. Probably never really fully realized his potential, but excellent fighter. Excellent fighter. Yeah, he's here, there, and everywhere, Joshua, right now. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, Cole Froch and Luis Ortiz are the same age. It's crazy. Yeah, wrestling, man. Listen, I've got a lot of respect for those guys who are always on the road wrestling. I know, again, I know it's scripted, but those guys can get seriously fucking hurt. And you know, there's been a lot of deaths, a lot of like premature deaths as well. That's a fucking cutthroat industry, wrestling. Not sure about these days, but back in the day, it was a cutthroat industry. It's no joke, wrestling, professional wrestling. It's no joke. Luis Ortiz invited his great grandchildren into the ring post fight. St Andrew's Boxing Club was where Dundee boxer Mike Towell died a few years ago versus Dale Evans' cursed club. Yeah, that's fucked up, man. I recall that actually happening, Mike Towell. Yeah, I recall that. Yeah, yeah, sad, man. It's crazy. It's a dangerous sport. See, I used to like wrestling when I was a kid back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, when it was like Stone Cold, The Rock, Kane, Undertaker, those guys. I kind of tuned out of wrestling when like Brock Lesnar, John Cena were coming in, so like 2003, 2004. That's when I started like toning out of wrestling, but I used to like wrestling back in the day. Mick Foley was another one. Good old Mick Foley. Who else was there? So Kane, Stone Cold, Undertaker, The Rock, Mick Foley, Triple H, all those guys, man. Shawn Michaels, obviously. You are probably right, BG London. You are more than likely right. But it's fucked up that he's missed out on a lot of money. Like, if you believe like turning down like 6 million, whatever it was for Joshua, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Cena and Orton were my favourites. See, I stopped watching wrestling around 04. That's when like Cena, Orton were coming in. I remember Orton came in with like a gimmick like called the Legend Killer. Like he used to like fight guys like Shawn Michaels and Mick Foley and that. Interesting. I'd rather be a good wrestler than use hands very well to punch in the real world. Jiu-jitsu is deadly. The thing is with things like jiu-jitsu and wrestling, in the streets, I mean, in like an ideal scenario, like wrestling and jiu-jitsu is super effective, but the ideal scenario in the streets that rarely happens. If you're in a fight and you use wrestling, you take the dude down, you subdue him. Great. What happens if he's got a mate? He's gonna kick your fucking head in. What happens if the guy you're wrestling has a blade? You're gonna get shanked. Like wrestling and jiu-jitsu in the streets, it can work, but it can put you at serious risk as well. Best form of defense for me is to know how to throw punches, strike first, 100-yard dash. That's the best form of fucking street fighting, man. Like, who was it? I mean, I forget the dude's name. He was like a kickboxer, Muay Thai guy, and he did MMA. And he even said, like, boxing is the best form of self-defense you can do. It's not always going to work, obviously. There's no sure thing, but boxing is probably the most useful thing to learn in the streets, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Because like we've all been, well, some of us have been in street fights. You know how it ends up. Sometimes other people get involved in shit, and if you're wrestling some dude, you're gonna get fucked up. You're gonna get fucked up. Yeah, Callum Johnson had such a wasted career. Maybe he should try to go for B-roll now in Russia if Frank Warren pushes yard forwards. Yeah, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. Yeah, Ric Flair, the OG, big up to Ric Flair. Wheeling dealing, son of a gun. Yep, Ric Flair. No, it's not happening. Callum Johnson pulled out. Yeah, again, like if you're fighting a dude in the streets and it's just you and him and he hasn't got a weapon, he doesn't have friends with him, wrestling is super effective, but like wrestling in the streets can put you in a serious disadvantage. A serious disadvantage, and you can get fucked up. Exactly, bro. That's what always makes me laugh when like these MMA guys say, "Oh, like jiu-jitsu beats everything." I can have a fucking double-barrel shotgun, an Uzi 9mm, but you know, wrestling's gonna beat me. It doesn't work like that in the streets, man. To me, boxing's more versatile. It can get you out of a bad situation. Even if there's multiple guys, you can maybe strike the first guy and run. Try and wrestle that guy, his mates are gonna fuck you up. Boxing is absolutely more versatile in a street fight scenario or self-defense scenario. Absolutely more versatile. In my opinion. That's before my time, BD London. You're showing your age, man. You're showing your age. Who else did I like back in the day? Who else did I like? I used to like Booker T. Booker T was good. Um, Stone Cold was my favorite though. Stone Cold was my guy. He was my dude. Stone Cold. I like Booker T. I like Stone Cold. I like The Rock. I like Undertaker, Kane. I used to hate Triple H back in the day. I used to fucking hate Triple H. Couldn't stand him. Oh, you sparred money kicks, Volta. I've never heard of this dude before, by the way, but I know Floyd's apparently fighting him. Yeah. So you sparred him, Volta. Interesting. Interesting. I wasn't alive to see Flair in his prime, but I did see Flair versus HBK 08 storyline for WrestleMania 24. Excellent story. Oh, Jimmy Snuka, yeah. That's before my time, big boys. That's way before my time. Yeah, Big Show was another one. Big Show. Yeah, Big Show. Who else was there? Mark Henry was another big dude. He was fucking huge. Mark Henry as well. Chris Jericho, yeah, Chris Jericho. Y2J, I think they called him. Yeah, the bad guy. Razor Ramon, yep. He was a bit before my time though still, but I know who he is. I do know who he is. I wouldn't mind watching it, Volta. I wouldn't mind watching it. It's a good fight. But you know, the casuals, Volta, they'll look at Sakalovsky's record and say, who's this guy? But it's a good fight. It's a perfectly good fight. Bro, these fucking random ass bot accounts. What the fuck are they even saying, bro? Like, they're not even putting links in. Fucking weirdos. No, I remember Big Boss Man. I do remember Big Boss Man. Because, yeah, Big Boss Man, I remember. For some reason, I was never really a big Shawn Michaels fan. For me, it was like Stone Cold, The Rock. I liked Kane. I liked Mick Foley. I liked Booker T. Who else did I like? I liked the Hardy Boys. Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. Edge and Christian I liked. Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley. Like, the tag teams back then were so good. So fucking good, man. Like, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudley Boys had some great fucking matches, man. Great fucking matches. Yeah, they've been saying this for quite some time now, Shadow. And apparently he's going to be coming back at Cruiserweight, so who knows? To be honest, Volta, I don't anymore. I really don't. I mean, I'll pay for something if I deem it worthy. So, for example, I paid for Joshua versus Usyk. It was a fight I really wanted to see. I pushed for it and I got it, so I paid for it. But a fight like, I don't know, I'll try and give you an example. Like Kilbrook Amir Khan, I would have paid for that a few years ago, but now it's a piss take, so I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to steal it straight up. I'm not going to support it financially. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll pay for it if I deem it worthy. No problem. Yeah, NWO. What was it? Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, and Scott Hall. Yeah. Rey Mysterio, yeah. Undertaker. I used to like Rey Mysterio as well, actually. Eddie Guerrero I liked as well. I liked Eddie Guerrero. I actually really liked Chris Benoit when he wrestled. I know it turned out the way it did, but he was a great wrestler, Chris Benoit. He was a great wrestler. Like, really good wrestler. Like, he just made it look like really authentic, you know? Hang on, I need to take this fucking hoodie off. I'm fucking sweating. Fucking sweating, man. Yeah, we see that earlier. Volta. Yeah, I mean, it's an okay fight, but the way it's worked out is kind of a disgrace, really. I'll watch it, but I'm not really that hyped. Yeah. True Crime of G-Man did a good breakdown on Chris Benoit, by the way. He did a good breakdown. So if you like true crime and you like wrestling, check out that video. Excellent video. And again, G-Man, you need to start uploading this year, bro. You need to start uploading again on that channel. Oh, the Boogeyman, yeah. He's a bit after my time. I stopped watching wrestling at that point. I had him winning 7-5, Alex, but yeah, he looked bad. There's a lot of it's an interesting story. Watch G-Man's video on it. It's an interesting story. He put a few things out there that I never knew. Oh yeah, divas. Yeah, Trish Stratus was nice. Stacey Keebler was Stacey Keebler. She was nice. Who else was nice? Lita. Lita was banging. She was fine. Lita back in the day. Who else was there? There was Lita, Trish, Stacey Keebler. Who else was there? Fuck, my memory's terrible. I forget the other ones. Good shit, man. Good shit. I remember the best name I ever heard in wrestling, Hugh G. Rexon. Tori Wilson, that's another one. Tori Wilson. I know the name Sunny, but I can't picture her. To be honest with you, Shadow Combat, I'll be a casual. I've not seen it yet. Not seen it. Not seen it yet, man. But yeah, Trish was nice, man. Tori was nice as well. Sable, yeah, Sable. Sunny is fuck now, mate. She's massive. Dell's type. Vicky Guerrero, Jesus. Yeah, 1 second, lads. 1 second. Bear with me 1 moment. I'm going to get a drink. I'm back. Brandon Blanco. It's interesting how drug cartels like the Zetas were trained by the US. When the Zetas were Mexican soldiers, no wonder the Zetas are professionalized. Yeah, like their first, like originally they was, like their roots came back in like the early 90s when it was like a trade deal signed between Mexico, Canada, and the USA, and there was a small group on the Mexican border near Guatemala who were basically like socialists, and they saw that trade deal was like neo-capitalism, colonialism, and they started getting up in arms about it. So the Mexican government trained like loads of special forces guys, and they was trained by Americans to combat this uprising, and that's where a lot of the original Zeta guys came from. They was all trained by the US originally, and they was excellent fighters. They really knew what they was doing. The old school Zeta guys. It's interesting. It's really interesting researching like drug cartels. It's really interesting. Really interesting. What's next for Marku? I mean, it's hard to say, bro. It's really hard to say. I think they'll try and cash him out against somebody. Maybe Conor Benn. They'll try and make that fight big. I think he'll fight in Albania next. Yeah, Sable's married to Brock Lesnar. She is, yeah. Brock Lesnar's a fucking weirdo, man. Honestly. Yeah, they do, man. They got some crazy arms, some crazy armory. Stephanie McMahon. I would say Tio Senior. I can at least laugh at Angel sometimes. He can say some funny things, whereas Teofimo Senior is just an idiot, like a pure idiot. Stephanie McMahon looks out of it. Them eyes look, those eyes are dodgy. Listen, man, doesn't bother me. I'm good, bro. I'm good. To be honest with you, mate, I'm not really watching any TV shows right now. I don't really have any favorite TV shows. I'm not a TV series type of guy. I like the odd movie now and again, but I'm not a fucking TV series guy. I've not got the patience, kind of thing, you know. Ah, yeah. China when she was hench is Dell's type. Fuck's sake. Yeah, she was hench. She was hench. Yeah, it's crazy how they how much initiative they use, man. It's crazy. They'll make fucking armored trucks out of steel plates and shit. It's mad. A prospect fight I'd like to see this year is George Arias versus Mike Balogun. Yeah, he's the guy who beat Cassius Chaney versus the guy who beat Trey Lippe Morrison. That's a good fight. I think Arias is a better boxer, but Balogun's a bigger puncher. It's a good fight. Yeah, they did indeed, yeah. To be honest, bro, I've got no idea what's going on there, mate. I've got no idea what's going on. I've not really seen these scenarios, so I can't really comment too much. I'm Albanian, and drugs are the reason why we are known. Laugh out loud. I tell you what, man, you guys can scrap. I'll tell you that. You guys can scrap. I've seen you guys in action in Luton, and you guys can scrap. Fair play to you guys, man. Don't take no shit. There's nothing wrong with that. Tess Holiday, fucking hell. Disgrace. He should be in a jail cell, a prison cell, DMD. He should be in a prison cell. Insane. This guy's walking free, yeah, when certain man out here is not paying tax and they're getting put in prison for not paying a few grand in tax. Yeah, this guy's single-handedly cost the lives of countless people, many of which are civilians, and this guy's walking the streets getting a knighthood. Absolute disgrace. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Volta, when the boxing dries up, she will go to OnlyFans. Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy what's going down in Kazakhstan. What was it? Energy price changes or fuel changes, like fuel price changes. Yeah, he won the other night, BG London. He beat Cassius Chaney. Okay, shag, marry, avoid. So shag, marry, kiss. Sky Nicholson. See, I don't rate Ebony, man. I think I would rate. I would. How do I rate these in order? But it's not. I think I would marry Sky Nicholson. I'd shag Alicia Baumgartner, and I'd kiss Ebony Bridges. Because I don't want to fuck Ebony Bridges. I'll be honest. I'm not a fan. There you go. Tony Blair has literally caused over 1 million deaths. Dr. David Kelly, etc. Joke. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what happened to David Kelly? Who knows? You tell me. Natural causes. Golovkin for president. Let's get it. Not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that's true. Armchair warrior. That guy looks like a cretin, man. He looks evil. Dead behind the eyes. There's nothing there, man. That guy's got no humanity in him at all. None at all. And people still fall for the same shit year on year, voting for these fucking cretins. Imagine being like 40 odd years old, yeah, and still believing these politicians actually care about you and are going to make your life better. Like, imagine. Fucking hell, man. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, AB's on OnlyFans apparently. Do you reckon he fucking thanks Al Heyman at the end of his videos once he's blown a nut? Like, oh, thank you, Al Heyman. Pick up to Adrian Broner. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Worst coach, most deluded coach, worst tactics, worst everything of 2021. Absolutely. Silver wins. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Jeremy Kyle, man. He's a scumbag. Like you say, he's a bully, taking advantage of like vulnerable people, like literally the lowest common denominator, just taking advantage of them. And this guy was supposed to be some sort of fucking saint, you know, but he cheated on his wife, was an alcoholic, gambling addictions, etc. And this guy's out here preaching the choir to people, ruining people's lives who are desperate to get a bit of shine, who are misguided. The guy's a piece of shit, in my opinion. I don't like the guy. Like, fair enough. Like, if you're ambitious, like you that sort of stuff is not for TV, man. If you want to help people, just wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. Damn, you've done me there. You've done me there. Oh, that's a hard one. Kiss. Sorry, Mag, Shag, and Kiss. I'd marry Chantel Cameron. I'd kiss Ebony. No, I'd marry Chantel Cameron. I'd shag Ebony Bridges, and I'd kiss Shannon Courtney. There you go. He's a clown as well. But all of these people, man, are clowns. Telling you, I swear, all of these people are here to but all they're here for is to like divide and rule, divide and conquer. They play a certain side. They're super partisan. People get involved. People get behind them. People are at each other's throats as a result. Yet at the same time, we're having our pants pulled down by government while we're fucking focusing on bullshit. In my opinion, like all of these guys, left, right, etc., most of these people are fucking put there for a certain reason. Yes, Cecilia's a good-looking woman, no doubt. Yeah, that was a great card to go to, man. You saw a great main event. That was a great main event to watch, and you saw some guy getting sparked out. He was, but I'm not sure he is now. Never heard of her, Jimbo. I've never heard of Paige. Never heard of her. Like, I don't watch wrestling now. I used to watch it back in the day, but I've got no idea who Paige is. That sounds fucked up, though. Yeah. Basically, yeah, crazy D3. Jeremy Kyle reminds me of Tony Blair a bit. Dead eyes, yeah. Jeremy Kyle for Prime Minister. Yeah, that surprised me. I saw that on Twitter. Akole saying he's fighting at heavyweight next, but still seemingly hoping to get a cruiserweight unification after that. It's like David Haye. David Haye had an interim fight at heavyweight at one point. He fought at heavyweight against Thomas Bonin, and then I think he fought Enzo Macronelli. That's how I feel, BG London. That's how I feel. And you'd have a really hot shower afterwards, man. A really hot shower. A lot of fucking soap. You know, like that fucking mint soap that like kind of burns. That mint soap. I forget what it's called, but it's like really minty, and you can actually feel it on your skin. Get that fucking shit. Really hot shower. I'll have to do a bit of research, Jimbo, on old Page. Yeah, I don't mind Jeremy Clarkson. He's okay. He doesn't piss me off too much. Yeah, well, basically, yeah, that's basically what it was. Oh, Jeremy Kyle. Oh, fuck's sake. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, I mean, I could never imagine being that invested in like mainstream politics. I could never imagine being that invested. I used to be like years ago, but I realized, man, after a while, it was fucking pointless. It's absolutely pointless. Yeah, peppermint. Yeah, peppermint. I don't know. I'm not sure whether it's called Dr. Bonner's, but it's fucking good. It's good shit. Tingling mint tea from original source should come with a warning. Yep, it's good shit, man. It's good shit. I tell you what, you feel clean afterwards. It's good shit. It's good shit. I like that shit, man. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I didn't realize how long I was going. I've been going for like 2 hours and 20 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this one up, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm not sure. I'll try and get some boxing content uploaded, but there's not too many fights happening, so it's going to be a bit hard. But yeah, enjoy your weekend, guys. One more day of this week, so have a good one. Stay safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.